Hello and welcome to the show. Like I've mentioned in the last couple of episodes, I've been doing a series of community development, things in society that helps build society, and especially with schools. One such school is Cravenby Secondary School. I hope they still call it that. They did that when I was still there. And they're building a school hall, and that's obviously going to assist the surrounding society and also assist the learners in what they're doing in terms of the facilities that they have. Mrs. Shaakirah Ismail is here, and she's going to talk to us about that project and how you, as a viewer, can assist. Ms. Shaakirah, welcome.
Shukran so much.
So it's been a long time since I've been at the school. Yes. I've left there in 1991. That time it was called Standard 7. I think it's called grade something now, grade 9, yes. I think. So I still get a bit confused when people talk about all of that and one realizes how old you've become. but be that as it may, I have fond memories of Cravenby. You know, school was different at the time. We were naughty, but we were not naughty. I think you know what I mean by that. But be that as it may, as we go along, learners develop and they require certain things. And one such thing is the hall that you guys require there. And I know that you have some stakeholding assisting you with that, but you need further assistance, and that's why we're going to talk about that today. But before we do that, Cravenby School and your role in what you do there, tell us a bit about the history and where the school has come from.
Well, the school was building in 1977, and that was
39 years.
Yes, 39 years, and it was basically built as an Indian school. The years passed, and the community of Cravenby actually decided they really needed a high school.
So it started as a primary school. Oh, yes. That's why we see the two different types of bricks there.
And then obviously they actually wanted to have it inside the community, which they probably decided, look, having a high school under the one name, and that's why the secondary, where it comes to the combined school of Cravenby, the primary and the high school together. That was basically then only an Indian school. Now it's a multiracial school from children from all over the world that comes and attends that school.
I remember back in the day, you're right, we used to have the Department of Indian Affairs, and I think they were in charge of the school at the time. So obviously I think there were challenges with that, because if you look back in apartheid history and where we've come from, we understand that a certain racial group, being the whites, for example, and we say this outright because it's part of our history, yes. We don't mean any malice by that, but they were given an X amount budget to do what they're doing, and then Indians were given an X amount, and coloreds an X amount, and blacks an X amount. So all those under the white line were marginalized, and they were only getting a certain amount of facilities, and so Cravenby School has fitted into all of that.
That's right, which the school only had basically just the school, the classes, but there was no other facilities that they can use, like example a swimming pool or a hall that they can use or so, or whatever other facilities that they needed then. But now it's really, the school struggles on for all these years, and the community also said, it's enough is enough. I mean, you know, we're carrying on, we're trying our best, the school needs it. And this is what we're trying to do, to have our own hall, which this other foundation came on board to assist us.
What does it mean to Cravenby School to have the hall? What changes? What becomes better for the learners?
Oh my gosh, that is to have Cravenby to have their own hall. It's like, you know, it's the most awesome thing that can ever happen to the school. I mean, there's a lot of benefits that the school can have from it. The matriculants can write in the hall. I mean, we're talking about an 850 seater here. It's not a small hall. And I mean, the school can hire this hall also out for events for the community as well. So it will benefit the school a lot. And August quiz, which we have every year by different schools or halls that we have to hire out for the children to prepare, they can prepare in there as well.
And of course, school meetings and stuff like that. Yes. And then I think the important thing is the revenue generating aspect with regards to the fact that this can be hired out for private functions and that sort of thing.
Correct, yes.
So that's a big benefit. I know if you look at the layout of the school, and some of our viewers are probably seeing these visuals on screen now, that you're looking towards the back of the school. there's a vacant land there that is proposed where this might happen.
That's correct. Which is there's the MTN tower also at the back. Okay, that is fine. But the foundation is already laid out already. They know exactly where to build it because the planners came to the school to come see the land to see where everything will be starting off and vacant off and cut off where the school cannot go near to and so onwards. So everything is drawn and set up already, planning and everything.
Excuse the pun, but the groundwork is done.
The groundwork is done.
So all of that is in place already. The only thing that you guys are doing now is you're working on the funding and the contracts are in place. People have agreed to this and they feel that they need this. Now, I know before the show started, you spoke to me about the fact that certain stakeholders have come in and put in substantial amounts to start the project off, and those are big amounts that we spoke about. Yes. But what is the actual amount required, firstly, for starters, to make this all happen?
You're talking about the overall?
Yes, the overall amount.
The overall amount is a 6.5 mil.
So effectively, we see all of that's already happened. So the pre-planning is done, the stats are done, the research is done, and we're ready to go forward. The community is in agreement, and they understand that they require all of this to benefit the students, of course. But now we look at investment from key people, and you mentioned substantial amounts to me that I'm very interested in. Some over 3 million, some over 2 million. Tell us about that, and how did that come about in the first place?
Well, Garden Cities is one of the main. They are one that is actually putting a 3.5 million down.
That's a huge amount.
Is.
What makes someone invest so much?
Well, according to him, to John Matthews, he's the CEO of Garden Cities. He's got a passion for the school. I'm not sure where does his passion come from, but he does have the passion for the school. He sees one of the schools for some reason that needs to have this all. And he is a person that also, and the company that he's working for, they are ones that, build hall for schools that really needs it. But obviously you need to show your side, how how committed you basically are of having your own school and where your funds is all about. So that is the one. Then WCD, they also came on board and they gave a 2.3 million.
That's also very substantial.
Yes.
So you're sitting with 3.7 and you're sitting with 2.5, and you have a balance there that needs to be accumulated.
Yes.
But the load is off your shoulder, I must admit. It's a substantial amount.
It is a substantial amount, but where the school needs to bring their part as well. Everything can't fall out of the sky and you sitting backwards. So the school needs to have 550,000 to raise funds. 250,000 must be put down on the 1st of June, and that is the start of date when they start building.
Right, so that's to say we're really going ahead and we're doing this. Yes. So 550,000 is what you require. What are you currently doing to raise that funds before we ask the public how they're going to do this?
Okay, we had a lot of fundraising so far, small little ones that they had on the school as well. We had a big one now, a Mother's Day event. Last weekend.
So these are little events to raise. So if you can package 10 and 15,000
yes.
after every event, it goes towards the total there that you require.
We were involving the children as well, the learners, which we had, Valentine's, we raised funds of the school. We had our dragon boat racing as well, which was also a huge success of the primary school. And then we had our Mother's Day event last weekend, Saturday, that was the 14th, the 14th yes, of May. And that was a huge success because the people really enjoyed themselves. Our next one will be Heritage Day, that will be in September, because obviously it's now Ramadan coming up, exams coming up, so we're just quieting everything down now.
Is the community coming to the table? We know that they are attending the events that you've got going. You said that they're enjoying the events coming there, but are they coming to the table to help you guys make this happen?
To be honest, look, it's all new for for the community as well, where the school is asking for contributions and donations and so. Normally, in the previous years before that, the school did ask, and it's almost like, okay, they're having a function, but it's never gonna be, they planning everything, but they don't go through with it. So it's almost like it's a false type of thing. Yeah.
So we collect all this money, we're doing this and the other, but 5 years down the line, my kid is out of the school, but guess what? The pool is not there. So we know that's happened. But I think that I think maybe society needs to understand, and especially the Cravenby community, which I think I did this interview purely because I come from the community,
Yes.
and that I have been at the school, and I feel that going back all this time, at some point in your life when you've graduated and you've in some standard become something in life that people recognize to be, you need to give back to that society that you came from. And that's one of the reasons I said, come onto the show and let's talk about this so we can give back as a TV channel in at least telling people what the story is and how they need to get involved. But looking at this aspect of you saying that there were some plans in the past and things don't materialize, I think that there are issues around all of that. And those issues may include the fact that sometimes you don't reach those targets and those projects fall flat. There's a change in management. There's many things that makes projects not happen. But I know for a fact, and we checked this out, so I can tell my viewers is you guys are going ahead with this plan because we've had everything checked out before the interview. So we can assure our viewers that this plan is going ahead, and you guys are on the verge of doing that, and they need to assist. Viewers need to assist. And it doesn't matter where you are in the country, you can still contribute because it goes towards somebody's development out there. It doesn't need to be in your community.
The new SGB of the school, I'm not sure the previous SGB of the school didn't do anything. They did and things, but like I said, the community didn't really believe the school can do it or, take the word what they were doing. They did have the little community projects that they done, where to raise funds, which it was materialized, which people did enjoy themselves and so onwards. It was a success as well, where the community supported wise, but not money wise. Now it's almost like now we're taking it from to A to Z now. We are serious to raise funds. We're not standing back now. So we're taking everything serious. We're doing everything that in our utmost power to go forward with this project.
So there are some people that you're surrounded with that you mentioned earlier on today that sort of form a cornerstone in the operations and a driving force behind all of this to make sure that this project happens. And that's not normally easy because I think many of us have this idea that we can do something, but these things come into fruition based on the people that we're surrounded by. Who are those people?
She is a lady that was on the previous SUP years ago when she had still children on the school. The children was all graduated, finished with school, they're in varsity and so onwards. So she's basically, not basically on the board of the SUP, but she's a subcommittee. But she's got this passion to help this school. And if it was not for her to have this good word with the CEO of Garden Cities, I don't think we will be the number one on the list. We will probably be 7th, 10th. And we won't be on the priority, like he said, like we are the priority on that number 10 list. So I really feel grateful for her, whatever good word she had to put in. I mean, which she is the project manager of the school hall.
So you sit on the governing body, like most schools have a governing body, and I think you're at the helm of that at the moment. Then you have the other structures of the school itself, and that's the principal and his team, and then you have the teachers and whoever that might be. How do they fit into all of this, and what have they been doing to make sure this happens?
Well, everybody on the governing body, each one is a help for her, and each one do their contribution towards it. They seek for sponsors. There's no laying back of none of us and things. Whether it's a teacher, whether it's a principal, each one is doing their duty. I know the teachers is got their hands full already because they need to teach learners, but they are bringing their side because it's not only on one side of the governing body, it's a two-way thing. It's the school teachers and obviously the governing body that works together.
What's been the response of students or learners, as they call them today, knowing that this facility is coming up? Some of them are matriculating, so they're not going to benefit from that, but at least knowing that those that come under them are going to benefit from this. Has there been any sentiment from them at all?
Well, they're quite excited, which now if we have school meetings or, gatherings or assemblies for the school children, all of them can have a combined assembly in the hall, which normally we have to take the tar yard for the school, for the primary first, but dividing them up because we can't accommodate each and every one on the tarmac of the school. So we will start with the small ones first, then with the intermediate phase, and then with the high schoolers as well. So we need to split them up. Now, if we have this hall that accommodates 815-seater, which the school accommodates 1,100 and say 56 learners in combined. So we can combine all of the learners together in under one roof.
I think that's quite phenomenal. I remember back in the day, that particular feel that you're referring to used to be sort of a very felt kind of feel, and we used to go and hang out, hide there. That was the escaping point. We considered it. We considered that to be the airport area, so it was like we could escape from that area. Like, if we were going to bunk, in Cape Town we call it bunking. I'm not sure in the other cities. So that's where all of that.
I think it's still called bunking.
We got those very fond memories of all of that went on there, and I know that I have a feeling that the community is going to respond and they're going to get involved, because if you guys have gone to the point where you've got it all done, 80%, we're just trying to fill in that gap of just over R500,000. That's not a big task at all.
No,
it's just not a big task. What's your message to your current sponsors? You speak about John, and I know that the fact that he has come on board and said that we're going to do this is a big thing. What's your message to him and people of his likes?
Well, we only met him on our memorandum when we saw the memorandum that evening, and his wife. And I have to say, from the SGB of the school, I really thank him for putting our school on the #1 list. I must thank the lady that whatever magic words she pushed in his ears or said in his ears, I say shukran to her as well, and her name is Mayronisha Bridgman. Which she is the project manager, which she will be handling all the bigger details of this whole project on school. Then obviously our principal, which is very excited, Mr. Singh, he can't stop talking about the whole, which I think each one that is in this whole thing is so excited. It's almost like sometimes you have sleepless nights, you can't even wait for this whole thing to start.
So, Mr. Singh, you say that he's fairly excited about this. Has he expressed any sentiment to you regarding this? Does he see it as perhaps a big development?
It is a big development because the school never had one. They always spoke about it, but like never materialized prior before. Now everything is in motion, signed, everything is a done deal. It's just that small little amount that needs to come still in. Then everything is fine.
Donors, community donors, how far has that gone? Are there people coming forward saying, I've got to spare 10,000 Rand, I've got to spare 1,000 or even 200 bucks, whatever it might be. I think every cent counts at this stage. Yes, has people been coming forward, or do you require them to come forward? How else can they help? Well,
according to what I know now, so far we only have our fundraisings money that we raised, but we do plea for every ex-student or every company or out there to assist us with whatever amount they can pledge and things. We will be really grateful for that.
I think some of the solution might lie in the alumni of the school, and it is my opinion that Cravenby School has generated lots of professionals over the years. Some of them are friends of mine, doctors, lawyers. Surely we're not earning under 50 or 100,000 a month, and we need to trace that personal history back and say that Cravenby School for us played a role in our successful paths. in whichever way we deem success to be. So I think I want to make a call on those students to actually come forward, and whether it's 5 grands and 10 grands, they should be putting that down, saying thank you for those years.
If they do come on board, I will really appreciate every last little cent that we can get into raise this funds for our school hall. I mean, it's a big thing for us. I mean, if it starts the 1st of June, I mean, our school will be finished before December. And whoever knew that a school hall can be built for 850 seater, actually with a balcony as well, because we saw the plans in, say, less than 5 months.
Correct.
If the weather plays on our side.
Yes, of course. Shaakirah, it's been interesting chatting to you. What we're going to do is we're going to cross over to our viewers and show them some of the aspects of the school, chat to certain people at the school, find out what their sentiments are. When we come back, we'll give you the details that you need to contact the school on.
It's coming a long way from those years from 2004 that we collecting monies and stuff, but it wasn't enough to build this hall. Now eventually we got this historic donation from Garden City, 6.25 million, which is a lot, and it's amazing what's happening here. John Matthews, he did the opening at the with Donald Grant for the feeding scheme, and then he took a walk around the school. Eventually 2 years later, we were nominated on the WCED list, one of the schools that gonna receive the hall. Our contribution from the school is about 250,000, but we aim for 550 because the hall's going to be built, but we also need certain things, the interior decoration to be furnished and all that, like projectors, whiteboards, the curtain on the stage, and the kitchen must be done. So at the end of the day, when we're going to get this hall, it's going to bring money in for the school as well, because we're going to hire the hall out. It's also going to benefit the learners. We're going to get outside companies like to do workshops and to educate our children.
So it's a cold, chilly day in Cape Town. We decided to come out of the studio. I know you guys are not used to seeing us now recently out of the studio, but I had to come to this location for one reason, and that's the fact that I was a student at Cravenby Secondary School many years ago. So it's interesting for me to be walking around looking at the very field that we used to, sort of in some people's view, we were a bit naughty at the time. I remember on my right hand side we had our own tree house there, and we would escape and bunk out of the school at certain times, and these are floodings of memories that are happening at the moment. What's interesting to note is it's great as a past student to see that the school has taken the initiative to build a school hall and to develop that further in the interest of the children. We spoke to Mayorunisa, and we're chatting to the school principal, Mr. Singh. He's going to tell us his thought. We're standing on the very field where the school hall is going to be coming up.
I feel this is quite a big development in this particular area in terms of a school that is in its 38th year of existence, and it's long overdue because it will serve many purposes, especially an assembly, which we are having great difficulties with in terms of children being at one central point. But apart from that, we hope that it's going to create other avenues such as accommodating our learners during the examinations, something that we have to outsource. You know, the Secretary of the SGB has made the appeal via Facebook, but we are in the process of getting numbers, contact details of our past learners, as you correctly mentioned, who are very successful, and to plow back into the school community, because one always believes that it is for the community and for the generations to come. So that again is a very important source that we're busy with. But if people out there are listening to the program or viewing the program, we would appreciate it very much to make contact with the school The details are just like how it was previously. It's the same school number and the email is about the same, but I could add its head, also capital lower case head at cravenbys.wcape.school in full school.za, or you can phone the chairlady of the school governing body on 021 931 4470, or the project manager, who is Mrs. Bridgman at the school, again 021 931 4470. My main message is continue with the good work that you are doing. We do appreciate the fact that you all are full-time involved in your work, but I really appreciate the fact that you're going out of your way, and this is a great motivation for those to see that you have the interest of the school at heart. And one thing is for certain, this governing body and with all its members, they are 100% sure that this project is going to reach its finality, and God willing, towards the end of this year, we will have the keys to the hall 2016.
Well, that was some of the people involved with the school and the project itself. As you can see, it's quite a noble cause. These kinds of projects lend towards community development, social cohesion, and for all of that to happen, society as a whole need to come together and make that happen. So I'm calling on the alumni of the school, people that live in the community, in the Cravenby community. I know it's a very localized story that I'm doing today, but the fact is that I've come from the area and I feel that I need to give back by making sure that you know the story. Thank you for joining us. Details on the screen. Goodbye.